What's up, gangos? Today I want to talk about the idea of if you want to go fast or if you want to go far, you need to go slow. So essentially, if you want to go fast, go slow. And I read this quote in a book, and I keep seeing it everywhere. And at first when you read it, it doesn't make any sense. If you want to go fast, you want to go slow. It's like polarizing. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense, right? In one aspect, the big wins only come from compound and compound interest. If you've heard of it, you see how big the lump sums get, right? How much money you can make just investing in the stock market over a long period of time. But in reality, compounding works in every single facet of life. If you do the same things over a long period of time, eventually you'll be successful. If you work out for 30 minutes a day, which seems relatively small because it's only 1/48th of the day, right? You do it for a long enough period of time, you won't see big gains in the first month, first week, first 3 months, 6 months, but over like a year, 5 years, 10 years, those 30 minutes add up. And then same thing goes for any skill you want to work on. If you work on it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, you won't get any better. But if you work on it, if you keep doing those 10, 15 minutes every day for a week, 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, you're going to see massive amounts of improvement. And the thing is, with these types of wins, these really like these worthful, valuable, big wins, they have to happen gradually. If they happen too fast, the faster you go up, the faster you come down, right? Like think about someone who wins the lottery, right? Typically we've seen it multiple times. People who win the lottery end up losing all their money because one, they have no financial literacy, they don't actually know how to make the money, and they just got lucky. So they get in all this money, right? It's not gradual, it just happens in one big burst, and then they start spending it in big bursts as well. They start buying cars, houses, all types of luxuries, and spending this and there, and they don't invest it, they don't know how to properly manage it, and it comes all the way back down. And this happens with everybody. Even with someone who gets who uses drugs or something, they go on a super high, right? They get all this energy, all this happiness, and then what happens, they come down really quickly like a roller coaster, right? They go up they're early on the high, and then they come down, right? Now they're sad, depressed, their life isn't any better, this and that, right? So it's like you need to understand, to go fast, you need to go slow. So the things that you want in life, you need to work on them slowly but surely every day. Working on it's not necessarily slow and steady, it's just steady. Just do the things that you need to do on a daily basis. Have the right inputs. Don't focus on the outcome. Just if you can consistently do the inputs on a daily basis over a long course, like a long period of time, you're gonna get there. It's like guaranteed pretty much in any endeavor. And another thing that's correlated, it's like with most things in life that are that you want big wins, like in business, sports, really anything, you can't do it alone, right? There's another quote that I like. It's, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And it's like, if you're like me, you're like isolated, you like being to yourself, you like being independent, you like doing everything by yourself because of past experiences with groups in high school and college where they just randomly put you together, and there's people that are always slacking, and then you always end up having to do a lot more work than usual. If that's the case in the school, and the way the school is, even in typical 9 to 5 office job, work jobs, you're gonna end up doing a lump sum of work while everybody else kind of slacks off. And that's just life, right? But you just gotta understand that if you do the work, you'll reap the rewards. Maybe not now, but eventually, right? Somehow, one way, it will pay out. Just understand that work is necessary in whatever it is, right? But if you can get into the mindset that I need to work with other people, I need to work together, I need to, find like-minded individuals. That's what it really is. Finding a like-minded individual in terms of work ethic, but in terms of different skill sets. If you're a finance person, you don't need another finance person in your team. You need a marketing person. Then you need someone who's more business oriented. Then you need someone who's very work oriented, if accounting or whatever the case may be. Whatever, it's you need similar mindsets in terms of I want to be I have a lot of drive, I'm ambitious, this and that. You look for people that are like that, right? People who have the same interests as you, so you guys can go into the same industries, and then you work together as a team so you can go really far. Because there's no person who has a big win that went alone. Every single big business owner, every single big company, every single big team, it's a team, right? There's not just one big leader, there's not just one really good player, there's not just one really smart person. It always comes, the big wins come from the gathering of minds, the gathering of knowledge. They're masterminds, right? That's the whole idea of masterminds, people that come together because they all have different experience, different skills, all kind of relatively towards one thing, earning money or whatever the case may be. but because they can all put their minds together, they can create something even bigger, something even better, something even more valuable, which would create that much bigger of a win so that the money can be more spread. But back to the original thought, it's like if you want to go fast, go slow. Another like thing that I've noticed within my own life is every time I will set myself up for a goal, right? So I'll set the goal and I'll have certain inputs, right? So the goal is the outcome. The inputs are always going to lead me to the outcome. And you got to focus on doing the inputs, like I said, and then kind of ignore the outcome, because the outcome will just happen over time, right? It's just you keep doing the inputs until the outcome happens. But if you do the inputs and you don't necessarily, because most goals, every goal is attainable, right? Because if someone else has done it and you're a human just like they are, you can do it too. It's just you don't know what steps you need to take in order to get that outcome. So the input process is kind of like trial and error, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, especially for you and your style and your work ethic or whatever the case may be, right? Something that works for someone else might not work for me, just due to different genetics, upbringings, nature, nurture, everything, right? So if I can figure out what my correct inputs are, then I will eventually get to that goal just with enough time, as long as it's like reasonable and attainable or whatever, right? But you need to find out what inputs are correct for you. And like for me personally, I have inputs that'll try to get me to an outcome, but if the input isn't right and I just focus on doing the input, then I'm wasting my time. But I don't even know that I'm wasting my time, because I'm assuming that if I keep doing this input, eventually I'll get to the outcome. But that's like me being in that fast mindset. I'm like, oh, I just gotta keep doing this, I just gotta keep doing this, I gotta keep doing this, right? Just keep going every day, this and that. Like, you could be doing the wrong thing completely, and then you will kind of still lead towards your outcome, but it'll be so slow and inefficient, and it'll take longer than it should. Like one perfect example in real life, when I first started going to the gym and I was trying to get aesthetic and put on muscle and lose weight and all of this, when I first started going in, and like I was only using the cardio machines, but that's not what that would only using cardio machines is not gonna get you muscle. So then I tried to emulate the people I saw in the gym who were like in good shape, and so I was like, oh, they do curls and they do shoulder press and they do this and that, right? So I started doing them, but I did them without any help or anything. I just guessed, and my form was off. I fucked up my shoulder. I wasn't growing as fast as I could. But now that I've been in the gym for three to 4 years, I can tell when someone has bad form. I can tell when somebody's like not doing something correct. I can tell when I'm not feeling something correctly in my muscles, right? I'll do more research on like the anatomy and everything like that. But that's because now I know, because I've been in the space for a while, in the entity, right? But in the beginning, you're not gonna know this. So that's why it's so important to do lots of research and lots of trial and error, because if you don't, then you might just end up doing the wrong thing for a long period of time. And even when I was doing the wrong thing, I didn't know I was doing the wrong thing. So my form was off, and eventually I found out like I injured my shoulder and I wasn't growing as fast, and that's when I changed things up. But I still got a little bit of growth. So I don't regret it. It's like if that didn't happen, would I have I'm not gonna like try to change the past or whatever, right? So it's like it was necessary in order for me to change and to grow and all of that. So it's better to do something than nothing, and that's why I still take this approach of I just gotta figure out what inputs I need. So just to do something, just to lead me to the outcome. That's why I still, action is the most important thing. If you want the thing, just do it, right? Like Napoleon said, if you want the power, then you shall do the thing, something like that, right? So figure out any input that's reasonable and logical to get you to the outcome. Do it, and then what I like doing is I'll do the input for a certain period of time, like a reasonable amount of time, depending on the goal. So like for me, a recent one was like waking up early and seeing how it like attributes to my work, like productiveness, right? And I've been realizing, like I was waking up early 2-3 weeks, like way early, like 5-6 hours earlier than I usually do, right? And every morning I would do a little bit of work, so I was like, okay, I'm a little productive. But then for the rest of the day, I would like take constant naps because I was kept falling asleep because I was so tired. So I was like, I see other people waking up early and they get so much done, but it's like, what if I'm just not a morning person? What if this doesn't work for me? Like, and now my brain, when the more sleep I get, the better I like see my brain working and processing and like having more thoughts and thinking more clearly. So me getting less and less sleep and only to sleep more throughout the day and not have as clear thoughts was a bad input per se, right? Because now it's actually not beneficial for me. Just because it was beneficial for someone else, I emulated it and it didn't work for me. So I gotta change it up now. So now I have to like take a break by stopping waking up early. Even though that was the input I said I wanted to do, I was disciplined doing it, I was consistent at doing it, but now I have to take a break, see what happens if I start waking up at a normal time again, see how it goes, and then see, okay, you know what, when I wake up, when I actually want to wake up, I get more things done because my brain is more clear. I have less fog. I'm not as tired. So it almost doesn't make sense for me to purposely wake up this early and almost get a little bit of done, only to fall asleep for the rest of the day and get less and less done throughout a long period of time. So it's like things like that. You just need to understand the trial and error aspect. You need to understand to go slow, to go fast, take breaks, measure, like actually like collect data, measure how it's actually working, and then how much closer you're actually into your outcome. If you do this with every endeavor that you have, every endeavor, every goal, every outcome that you want, in the end you will win. I'm telling you, we're all gonna win.